he goes about it. He calls me a lot. I'm just, it asks me lots of questions. They actually run a lot of plays that we used to run, Sirianni to Frank Wright to Tom Moore, sort of that chain. And he calls me with very specific questions about certain plays. So he's a student of the game. You know, as another example, you think, I mean, he squats 600 pounds. He can, you know, run over guys. He can throw it a mile. But his appreciation of the cerebral part of the game is what's impressive to me, and how he's taken his game to the next level. And I think the sky's the limit with this guy.
But when I say it,
You don't say the sky's the limit. You say he's already in the sky. You say he's already there. Peyton is saying he can get there.
Get where?
You're saying
where
exactly.
Is there, where is there to go?
Exactly. Yell at Peyton.
You're on the edge of the universe.
Exactly.
He won the Super Bowl in a blowout.
There we go.
And was the MVP.
Had 3 touchdowns, ran for more yards than Saquon Barkley, even though Saquon carried the team. Threw for 2 touchdowns.
Yell
where
at
else
Peyton.
Where else is there to go?
Yell at Peyton. We haven't
sky,
even said anything.
He's in the sky.
That's not what he said. He said the sky's the limit. That means he's ascending. I'm just telling you, yell at Peyton, not at us. You're always yelling at us.
Peyton's on my side.
I'm not sure about that, but go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think Jalen Hurts needs to improve for an Eagles repeat?
No.
We did this already.
Thank you.
I mean,
Me, Peyton,
he
and Burrow.
just
What a trio.
Not to piggyback on what's become one of your, signature things now about Hurts not being able to win the Super Bowl.
Not one of, I think, his signature thing.
He just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He just proved he's good enough to win the Super Bowl.
Hello.
Yes.
And in fact, he's been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls and balled out.
Yeah.
Now, some are going to say, well, Saquon's not going to rush for 2,000 yards again. Of course he's not.
Yeah.
But guess what? 3 years ago, when they didn't even have Saquon Barkley on the team, Miles Sanders was their best running back. And he went for 1,200 some odd yards. Saquon can do that. But even so, with Miles Sanders as the running threat, they reached the Super Bowl. Jalen was second in the MVP race. And the defense was not the best. It was like 8th in points allowed. So we can't just say he only got there last year because the defense was the best in the league and he had the best running back in the league. Because when he didn't have that 3 years ago, he still got him to the Super Bowl.
Well, 3 years ago, I think they had the most sacks of any team in 40 years and the #1 yards defense.
Okay, the defense was very good. I think the defense is going to be the defense has to be good. But it wasn't the best in terms of points allowed in the league. And so I think he has proven, now he needs to obviously be good, but he's proven he is good enough as he is. If he doesn't improve and just kind of does what he does, yes, they can still win the NFC and get to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I disagree with that because I don't think he's obviously doesn't need to improve for last year's Eagles to win last year's Super Bowl. Like that happened. The point where I disagree with you, Brew, is in that acting as if in 2023 or 2 years ago, so 2022, pardon me, when they made the Super Bowl then, I think most people thought that was the best defense in football. It was #1 yards. We talked all year long about how it was like since the '86 Bears, the most sacks.
It was
all of that.
But it wasn't in points allowed.
It wasn't in points allowed, but it was #1 in yards, #8 in points allowed. And so everybody understands, and I understand the tongue-in-cheek joke Wilds was making yesterday, which is it is not a question anymore. Can you win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts? Because they did win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. The question that I think everyone is asking when it comes to Jalen Hurts is if the Eagles this year are not as dominant in every category other than passing as they were last year, will they? And this is what I want to talk to you about. Because this is where I don't think we have that big of a disagreement, but it feels like we have a massive disagreement. So the Jalen Hurts story is, going into that season when they got to the Super Bowl, nobody thought he was that good. Nobody had any expectations for Jalen Hurts going into that season. Then he was excellent throughout that year to the tune of second in MVP voting, excellent in the Super Bowl, and he came out in that NFL Top 100 list, the #3 player in the league. It was Patrick 1, I think Justin Jefferson, some receiver 2, Jalen Hurts 3. And going into 2 years ago, he had all the respect that I think Wilds is demanding he have now that you feel he doesn't have. Again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
That's fair.
And then last year, or 2 years ago, they then leaned into the idea that they have an elite quarterback, having paid him like he were an elite quarterback, and the team fell apart at the end of the year, and the bloom was a little bit off the rose for Jalen Hurts. And then last season, they started the year as if they have an elite quarterback, and the team was not that good. And then, over the next 4 months of football, as Coach talks about all the time, they asked Jalen to do what he does best and not do what we've never seen him do, which is be a high-volume passer, which leads to winning. And the team was utterly dominant.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. First off, listen. Okay. Whew, it's already getting hot in here. Listen.
Listen, I've never seen such an incorrect summary of events in my entire life. This is just getting borderline insane. We've lost it. This is better than I could have ever imagined. I predicted this. Check the record. I said, if Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl and Jalen Hurts win the Super Bowl, it will break everyone's mind, and beating the Kansas City Chiefs, we restore balance in the NFL. I was so firm in that. I mean, that was like my whole argument. It was like, as from a sports world, we need this. We need this. We need this. We need this. I didn't even understand just how grand this was going to be. Like, even though I was one of the only people to actually predict it and say, like, this is what's going to happen in the sports world ecosystem of the conversation. Like, it's just going to be crazy. Like, I couldn't have even predicted this. Like, I actually undersold of what I thought would happen. This is just breathtaking. First off, let's just take the easiest low-hanging fruit here, saying, oh, well, they treated Jalen Hurts like he was a superstar after 22. And so in 23, they leaned into it and they didn't win. And it's like, yeah, they did. They won a whole bunch of games, and then then they started losing. Jalen Hurts was injured. The defense was awful. They fired their coordinators. He had a terrible offensive coordinator, but sure, let's put that all on him. Even though he beat Josh Allen. We love the head-to-heads. Nick Wright loves the head-to-head. He beat Josh Allen. He beat Patrick Mahomes, but like, okay, well down. No, Saquon Barkley. It's like, okay, whatever. Pretty sure Dallas was injured that year too. But he threw the ball. He was 8-4 in games that he threw the ball 30 more times in 2023, 8-4. That's somehow not good, I guess. Okay, that's fine. Sure. And then in 2022, they were 8-1. So 9 games to 12 games, a difference of 3 games. So 1 year they leaned on him to be a superstar by asking him to, I guess, throw the ball 30 times for 3 more games than the other year. How does that make sense? And then in 2024, they're like, oh, we're going to still treat you like a superstar. Oh no, we're not. And they weren't that good. What are you talking about? First off, it was the first few weeks of the season. Lots of teams, lots of quarterbacks were rusty. Patrick Mahomes literally could not stop throwing interceptions. He could not stop throwing interceptions. But that's neither here nor there. Jalen Hurts in those first 4 games. A Jay Brown played in one of them. So, yeah, it's hard for you to throw a lot and lean on your quarterback when your number 1 wide receiver is gone. And Devontae Smith missed a game. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith missed a game together. It's really hard to win games and ask your quarterback to throw the ball 30 or so times when you're missing your wide receiver 1 and your wide receiver 2. and it's so hot. You can't even really ask a lot out of your quarterback Your defense cannot stop the offense. So your offense is back on the field again and again and again, and your special teams is fumbling balls and whatnot, is short. We'll put that all on Jalen Hurts for losing. We'll put that all on Jalen Hurts. It's all on Jalen Hurts. And losing against the Falcons, it's all on Jalen Hurts because Saquon Barkley dropped the ball. All on Jalen Hurts. It's all on Jalen Hurts. I know. That almost makes sense. They easily could have been 3-1. But like stuff happens and automatically means bad. And like I keep saying, like I keep emphasizing again and again and again and again, in the biggest games, in the biggest moments, they are asking Jay, they are putting the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands. Please show me the moments. Please show me the moments in the NFC Championship game or either of the Super Bowls where they asked Jalen Hurts to do less, where they didn't treat Jalen Hurts like a superstar franchise quarterback. Please show me the moments. Please. Why in the opening drive would they ask their non-superstar franchise quarterback, who they apparently do not have trust in the opening drive of the Super Bowl against the literal Kansas City Chiefs? Why would they have Jalen Hurts throw a deep ball down the downfield? 4th and 3, I think it was 4th and 4 on the opening drive. That would have given the Kansas City Chiefs, if he makes just the slightest bit of a wrong throw there, the Chiefs get the ball at the 50-yard line, that they struggle to get there to, until the, 2 minutes into the third quarter or something. Doesn't matter. But why would they do that for a quarterback that they didn't have trust in? It does not make sense. It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. Like, what are we trying to manufacture here? If in that Super Bowl he only threw the ball 15 times, if he threw the ball 25 times, but every throw was just 4 yards, 3 yards, 6 yards, screen pass, screen pass, screen pass, screen pass, behind the line of scrimmage, like they do with Patrick Mahomes, then I could say, okay, I get it. And if Saquon Barkley rushed for 160 yards, I could get it, but that's not what happened in either Super Bowl. And I've already gone through all the highlights. I went through all the highlights in the NFC Championship game and both Super Bowls, and I went through the Packers game, the Rams game. I went through all the games, actually. Now that I think about it, it was a great video. I think that was that video that I made. It was like an hour-long Eagles video. Definitely check it out. I went through all the highlights. Stop with the nonsense. It's ridiculous. And yeah, that defense in 22, they had a lot of sacks, but like now we're going to downplay, I guess. Now we're going to say, well, points, they were number 1 in yards when Nick and Wright literally a couple weeks ago specifically said, because they were having a conversation, him and Brew, I think they were talking about the Chargers. And they were talking about defense, and they said, oh, so-and-so yards, like, well, and then Brew was like, well, I think it's more, points per game is more important of a metric. And Nick's like, yeah, I agree. But no, when we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, let's not do that. And let's pretend like the Philadelphia Eagles didn't give up 30-plus points in the Super Bowl. Like, that doesn't matter, I guess. Has Patrick Mahomes ever won a Super Bowl under those similar circumstances? No, he hasn't. Has Patrick Mahomes ever played a Super Bowl as great as Jalen Hurts has ever had done? No, he hasn't. And it's so ridiculous now to turn a defense into something that it was not. Like, even in they had a lot of sacks. Who had the second most sacks that year? Do you remember? Oh, that's right, the Kansas City Chiefs. Who led the NFL in pressures in 22? Oh, that's right, the Kansas City Chiefs. Weird. So they were second in sacks, number 1 in pressures. But doesn't mean anything. That's weird. Remember when he said, well, the Eagles were 8th in points allowed. So let's not act like that. Defense wasn't that great. They were actually a lot better. They were historic there. That in 2019, the Chiefs were 7th in points allowed for defense, and then in 2023, they were top in the NFL, and 20 and 22. I showed you those other stats. So Patrick Mahomes has never won a Super Bowl without a great defense, but yet I guess Jalen Hurts needs to prove this to you though now. That doesn't make sense. Philadelphia Eagles in one extra game in 2022 gave up 344 points, and the Chiefs gave up 308 points in 2019. So it's one extra game, but that's, unless you're having like a 40-point game, you can make the argument that in 2019, that Kansas City Chiefs defense was actually better than what the Philadelphia Eagles had going in terms of giving up points. But if you want to talk about like sacks and pressures, well then in 2022 the Chiefs were to top in the NFL. So again, which metric do we want to use here? You got to tell me what's. But we want to now just do yards. I don't. You want to play that game too? I mean, I guess we could do that game. Like, okay, like what? It's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. The Kansas City Chiefs in 2019, 19.3 points per game. Like, I don't understand what we're inventing here. We're now asking Jalen Hurts to do something that Patrick Mahomes himself had never done. I mean, in 2023, 17.3 points per game. Like, I don't get it, man. I really don't. And it's just getting so ridiculous. It really is. It really is. I mean, Matthew Stafford wins a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams. His defense played great. His defense played great against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, are you kidding me? Conversation was between who's going to get the MVP, not Stafford. They were like, is it going to be on defense? Is it going to be on offense? The guy catching passes or the guy who's sacking the quarterback? There wasn't no real discussion about it being Matthew Stafford. And Stafford literally didn't win a single playoff game in Detroit. And then he gets to a team that actually can support him. He wins a Super Bowl. We give him all the credit. Jalen Hurts just skips that step because he actually got drafted to a competent franchise. And yet we just want to keep dragging his name in the mud. It just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. I mean, as Brew highlighted in 22, Jalen Hurts leads this team to the Philadelphia Eagles, leads them to the Super Bowl. Miles Sanders rushed for 100 and 200 yards, 1,200 yards. And they had the 8th ranked defense. Jalen Hurts has had a tremendous amount of success. We just keep inventing things. And I don't know why. Jalen Hurts in 2022 beats the Tennessee Titans 39 pass attempts, 74% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Okay? Beats the Chicago Bears 37 pass attempts. Beats the Cardinals 36 pass attempts. Washington 35 attempts. Giants 35 attempts. The Lions 32 attempts. The Vikings 31 attempts. The Giants again 31 attempts. I don't understand. And then, again, this is where we also want to cut off other numbers. He beats the Pittsburgh Steelers 28 pass attempts, but that's not good enough because it's not 30. Even though he threw 19 for 28, 285 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and a 67.9 completion percentage, but that's not good enough. And then he beats Houston 21 completions for 27, 21 for 27, 77% completion percentage, 243 yards and 2 touchdowns, and a 128 passer rating. But that's not good because it wasn't 30 pass attempts. If he just threw 3 more pass attempts, then we can put it. But he literally threw 25, 26, 27, 28, 28, 31, 31, 32, 35, 35, 36, 37, 39. But it's just not good enough. Darn. If only he could just have 2 more throws a game. If he just averaged 2 more throws a game, then we would be saying this is amazing. It's just unreal. Think about this. And I'm really not trying to evoke Patrick Mahomes in this conversation. I swear I'm really not. But they're asking Jalen Hurts to do something that they don't even ask of Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's what is just so unbelievable. They're asking Jalen Hurts in order for him to prove his worth. He has to do something that we've never seen Matthew Stafford do, that we've never seen Joe Burrow do, that we've never seen Lamar Jackson do, that we've never seen Josh Allen do, that we've never seen Patrick Mahomes do. But Jalen Hurts has to do it just so he can get the respect. It's just outrageous. It really is. It's outrageous. It's kind of breathtaking. I just can't make sense of it. I mean, this is where this makes no sense. Patrick Mahomes had a bad game against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. He had a bad game, but he threw 42 times. So we'll say he won the game even though he had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 78.1 pass rating, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 6.8 yards per attempt. Only 286 yards on 42 attempts, but I guess he's the big winner there. And then in the next game, the next Super Bowl, 53% completion percentage, 49 pass attempts, only 270 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 52.3 pass rating. But then he wins the Super Bowl, but he only throws the ball 27 times and 182 yards. But he's the hero. Nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else. Doesn't make sense. I mean, it just doesn't. And then again, in 23, Patrick had an elite defense. Top defense in the NFL. That doesn't count then because it doesn't count for Patrick. It doesn't count for Jalen Hurts. And he still turned the ball over. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 99.3 passer rating. Less than what Jalen Hurts did when he won the Super Bowl. And then, of course, in this game, he played terrible. These are the most like bootleg nonsense stats you could ever look at. His passer rating was in the 70s again before he got those, and it was, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions is what it should be, and like under 200 yards. But, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. Someone in the comments section said the other day, Patrick Mahomes is 3-0 when he's protected in Super Bowls. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Now, okay. Oh, that's the way it works. Okay, got it. It's like, man, you guys really do just make stuff up as it goes along. It's, oh my God. Unreal. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Jalen Hurts, does he need to improve or an Eagles repeat? No. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. Want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.